digital native companies which are bringing in newer AI models, they want to really disrupt the biggies, right? But a lot of these digital native born in the cloud companies have started their complete journey with digitization, with AI.
Hello and welcome to the Boss's Code, your playbook from the top. Join us as we decode the future of business, technology, and leadership. In today's episode, we'll be in conversation with a leading executive from the cloud and data center business. Cloud and data center, as you know, are critical to what's driving today's artificial intelligence. As all the data gets processed in these large data centers, most people know about hyperscalers, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Amazon's web services. But there are other players in the market, which is currently dominated by these big three players, which occupy about 60% of the market share. One among the smaller ones that is trying to punch above its weight is Lenovo. Lenovo's Infrastructure Solutions Group is building a slightly different strategy. So today we are joined with Amit Luthra, Managing Director for India at Lenovo's Infrastructure Solutions Group. Amit, glad to have you.
Thank you very much, John, for having me here and really look forward to the conversation.
So Amit, what is Lenovo's, strategy behind cloud space? How are you approaching it?
So let me be very honest and candid, right? Cloud is the form of the way IT is consumed, right? Whether it is public cloud, it is private cloud, it's hybrid cloud. I think time and again, most of the OEMs have gone back and spoken about it. But in a nutshell, it is the way IT is consumed. And the reality is that the way the newer and emerging workloads are coming up, this is really reshaping and becoming an interesting space for most of us in this market. For us, it is very clear. We work with the complete ecosystem of the cloud. So we have our teams which works with hyperscalers and enable the hyperscalers to deliver infrastructure that is purpose built so that they can in turn go back and reach out to customers, which is AI purpose built infrastructure or purpose built infrastructure that suits their cloud for normal CPU workloads or inferencing workloads. So we go back and work with the large hyperscalers. We do also work with the Indian cloud service providers to have some nice consumption based models which are offered to Indian customers. And then we also work with large enterprises that are wanting to work on their journey to building an hybrid cloud, basically having something in their data center and then bursting into the public cloud in case the spike comes in, right? And good thing about it, what we are seeing is with this complete focus moving towards AI and with the adoption of AI increasing, most of it is becoming hybrid, and to a greater extent, most of this is becoming on premise. So either at their data centers or at the colo data centers. So we are working with the end-to-end ecosystem of the cloud players to help our customers in their journey, digital journey.
When you talk about different environments in which companies are coming to approach cloud, how has those things changed?
Infrastructure is definitely the building block of the cloud, right? So I believe that no digital transformation project has been successful without having enabling IT transformation, right? So you have to make IT transformation and modernize your infrastructure real if you really want to walk to the digital transformation. And time and again, we have seen organizations that have been very successful in their digital journey have got the IT transformation or they have modernized their IT right the right way. Now, if I actually look at to you on the building blocks, right? Now, these building blocks, it starts with the infrastructure, and then you will have to talk about what is your workload. It actually boils down to having an engagement on which workload is at the right tier of the spectrum, right? Whether you want to have that workload in public cloud, whether you have to want to have that workload in private cloud, or you want to have that workload in an hybrid cloud. So it completely defines and depends on the workload. And we believe that one size fit all approach will not work in this complete ecosystem. You will have to show the flexibility and you will have to give the choice because Indian enterprises definitely flexibility and choice. And we as Lenovo are poised well to actually take this to our customers and give them choice, right? Whether the way they want to actually take this into integration into their journey.
So how are you differentiating where people are providing similar sort of services?
I would say that the first thing, it starts with building deeper customer intimacy. It starts with there, right? And innovation at any stage actually matters when you build deeper customer intimacy. So we work towards that as a first step. How do we build a better customer intimacy? And in India, we believe in three parameters. The first parameter is enabling our organizations, irrespective of their size, be it hyperscalers, be it cloud service providers, be it large enterprises, be it SMB customers, right? Giving them an open, flexible architecture. So we don't want and go back to them and say that you have to let go what you already have, or you actually go back and propose something which is very rigid and proprietary. So we have open, flexible architecture, and these are built on open standards, and they are highly interoperable, whether it is traditional IT, whether it is hybrid cloud, or whether they are AI workloads. The second thing is we help our customers in their end-to-end journey, and by delivering end-to-end capability, not just hardware. It's not like we are just selling servers, or we are just selling some petabytes of storage. We work with them to deliver an outcome, and our portfolio spans across purpose built compute, because it's not gone out those days where we can go back and say this compute platform fits all needs. No. So you will have to have purpose built compute, you will have to have new age emerging storage solutions. The network around it has completely changed. You will have to work towards this software defined infrastructure, and then you will also need to help them with edge, and in this complete speed of things you will have to have then and dedicated AI ready platform. So we have this end to end capability, and not just hardware, and we help our customers in that. The third aspect is we make in India with global quality, right? Our local manufacturing and our R&D facility in India helps us as a big differentiator, which our customers leverage and customers value it right from the incubation stage. They can bring their initiatives, their be it on AI or be it on IT transformation, and we can help them in that journey.
So the customization is one aspect, definitely. There are a lot of companies who are looking at customization, but there are also, if you look at the SMBs, the small and medium-sized businesses, usually what they look for is something more kind of, out of the box sort of setup where they could kind of, immediately deploy things and go ahead. So how do you provide sort of, set up for this kind of client or customer base?
You have brought a very interesting aspect, right? It is whether you want to build IT solution or you want to buy an IT solution. And you're very right. Most of the mid-market and SMB customers in India will want to buy it like a package. And that's where we have, for most of these large organizations, we have partner built solutions, like we have a chat GPT in a box, right? Which can help them to do an enterprise LLM. We do have lot many solutions like these, which wherein we work with ISVs to help them give a complete end-to-end package solution. We at Lenovo, couple of years back, gone back and committed huge investment into building up the ISV ecosystem, because AI can only be real when the business outcome is delivered. And for business outcome to deliver, it's not just the infrastructure, it's the complete software, and the business benefit has to be demonstrated. So we have partnership with lot of ISVs. We qualify them on their platform. It is making them real beyond the PowerPoint, right? Because some of them really look good on POCs, but when you put them into production, things are different. So that is where the ratification of a larger organization like Lenovo comes in, that yes, we have built it and deployed it to that large scales. This gives a lot of confidence to mid-market and SMB customers. And like you rightly said, they are in the journey of I would say not building IT solution stack, but buying IT solution stack.
And how do you see, you're actually watching this kind of thing evolve. How has this evolution been like, given that this AI thing has kind of caught up quite fast. But I'm sure that, people were anyway digitizing in India, and then there was a gradual shift towards digitization that was happening even before the pre-chat GPT era. How have things either accelerated, or has the use cases also changed after ChatGPT came in?
If you see, right, a decade back, most of the IT vendors were talking about social media analytics, cloud computing, right? Mobility, changing the real world, and talking these four key technologies as the pillars of digital transformation. Analytics was always there, right? Even a decade back, also analytics was there. Those days it was MLDL, but AI in some shape or form always existed, right? Now, what has happened is Gen AI took it to mainstream. So with the Gen AI getting more prominent, with the LLMs becoming more prominent and accessible, that really took it to mainstream, and that's where people started looking at it. Became a boardroom imperative. Most of the CEOs started to look at AI as the topmost priority, right, rather than the CIOs. Whereas CIOs in India, we did a nice study, they are still wanting to give priority towards ensuring there is security in place, there is ethics aspect of it that is covered, there is responsible AI which is there, than making it the one most important priority. So Gen AI changed the real world adoption. A lot of, I would say, projects would have seen shape only because of Gen AI, because the ease of deployment, time to deployment, time to market is much faster. And now we are talking in this world of agentic AIs, right? This stream is just started. Trust me, with agentic AIs coming and being more real, this is just this beginning, and we are very bullish about it.
But with when you speak about agentic AI, are SMBs also interested in agentic AI? I mean, is this because you always see this is more kind of happening on the more top tier companies that have already digitized to a significant level, and then they want to deploy and find some ways on how they can harness their data. But when it comes to SMBs, a lot often they tend to kind of get into a digitization phase a little later because their needs are very different.
So, very nice point that you have brought in, right? Agentic AI is definitely not limited to a larger organization. I would say it is the business of the company that defines it, right? Most often we get the definition of SMB versus large enterprises. I go and talk. There are analysts who says that I go by the number of employees, and then there are analysts who go by and say that I go by whether it is a listed company on turnover and stuff like that. But a lot of these digital native born in the cloud companies have started their complete journey with digitization, with AI. Right? They are the leading ones, whether in terms, whichever way you classify the organization in terms of their turnover or in terms of the number of employees, they fall under mid market and SMB. So it depends on which vertical that we are talking, right? If it is a traditional brick and mortar company, there are again ISVs that are pushing agentic AI in CRM, in quality inspection, training, those kind of things, right? It is like you are driving a business outcome which is enabling the hygiene part of the business. But then there are digital native companies which are bringing in newer AI models. They want to really disrupt the biggies, right? And they are using it into the most imaginative things that we can even think of.
That actually leads me to the idea of, what's happening.
So, very nice point that you have brought in, right? Agentic AI is definitely not limited to a larger organization. I would say it is the business of the company that defines it, right? Most often we get the definition of SMB versus large enterprises. I go and talk. There are analysts who says that I go by the number of employees, and then there are analysts who go by and say that I go by whether it is a listed company on turnover and stuff like that. But a lot of these digital native born in the cloud companies have started their complete journey with digitization, with AI. Right? They are the leading ones, whether in terms, whichever way you classify the organization in terms of their turnover or in terms of the number of employees, they fall under mid market and SMB. So it depends on which vertical that we are talking, right? If it is a traditional brick and mortar company, there are again ISVs that are pushing agentic AI in CRM, in quality inspection, training, those kind of things, right? It is like you are driving a business outcome which is enabling the hygiene part of the business. But then there are digital native companies which are bringing in newer AI models. They want to really disrupt the biggies, right? And they are using it into the most imaginative things that we can even think of.
Data security and privacy when it comes to looking for infrastructure services. Is this something that also comes up in the conversation, or more like a kind of afterthought?
Definitely, it comes in the conversation. Responsible AI is a very big conversation. So people do understand, larger organizations do understand. not just they're just listed in a stock exchange, but everyone has that ethics and responsibility which is tied to it. So people want to talk about security, people want to talk about, and this is where IT makes the excitement in the board real, right? That look, let us have our security framework. We might actually succumb to some lawsuits and stuff like that. Till how much or how detailed can we go back and collect customer data? So security and ethics aspect of it, what we actually call as a package is responsible AI, is a very big discussion point in deploying most of these solutions.
Could you give a sense on, the kind of, needs for India vis-a-vis with others in, let's say, the Asian or the, global context? How
India,
is this market evolving?
I would say India is definitely leading. We have done a nice study with some of the leading analysts, and we went and spoke to CIOs. It's a worldwide survey that we did. We touched some five different. We touched nine different countries and five different verticals, wherein we went and spoke to close to 1,000 CIOs. AI adoption in India is very now AI adoption in India. If I break, they are actually using it for either improving their business hygiene, which is major case, or else they are using it for innovation. But whether the organization is using AI for improving their business hygiene or for any innovation in their space, it's very real, right? So gone are those days where we had that worry, right? Will India skip this and adopt something new in future? No, it's not the case. India, in compared to Asia Pacific, is leading the AI complete discussion, and that's where you see a lot of organizations in India have their own focus towards building Indic LLMs and stuff like that.
But how easy or difficult is it to, match up to, let's say, the US or even so close to us, China's DeepSeek?
I would say every model has its own strengths, right? It's not about US or China or India, right? It's not about a model. It's about how you use that model to drive a business outcome. I
Hmm.
think most enterprises are, we work with enterprises predominantly, right? Or hyperscalers, right? So hyperscalers are wanting to build a platform that can serve customers who can come and test their applications. Enterprises are want to leverage AI either to improve business hygiene, which I just mentioned, or to go back and drive innovation. So all of them are evaluating all models. It clearly depends on what their end use objective is, and I think it's about time that will let them know. But most organizations end up having multiple models.
Would it lead to more of specific use case based models coming up versus, large language models?
Absolutely. You see, I think the biggest bet that I would have is on inferencing. The era of training and LLMs was 2 years back story. Every dollar was spent on let us build an LLM or an SLM. Let us focus on training. While that is still on, I'm not discounting that. But inferencing is where the big bet is.
So, on that note, we'll come to a close here. Thanks so much for taking the time out, Amit. It was a pleasure connecting with you.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.